Hello everyone, and welcome to part 4 of What If Shatter and Dropkick were in Transformers Prime. So without further ado, let's get right to it. We start this part off after the last one, where Optimus lies on the med lab with the Cybonic Plague. I fear the wounds are fatal. The Autobots start getting sad to this news. So, there's no cure or anything? Ratchet then says, not that I know of. Probably the Decepticons, but with no way to track their warship or get to it, we cannot locate a cure. Think about it, guys. Megatron is back earlier. We never really knew how the warship's cloaking technology was deactivated in Sick Mind. I wasn't gonna do this originally, but let's just say that the warship's cloaking technology was located by Ratchet and two Autobots move in. Wheeljack and Bumblebee ground bridge onto the warship. They search the Decepticons' computers for a cure, but nothing. And they hear footsteps and walk out of the way to hide. And Knockout and Megatron are walking off somewhere. Wheeljack then goes over comms and tells Ratchet that Megatron, he's alive. What? Impossible. But how? Bumblebee then makes a mad face. Optimus then overhears this. Megatron. Ratchet then orders Wheeljack and Bumblebee to return to base immediately. And so they do, with Optimus looking at the Autobots. Autobots, you must know that I will not make it out of this alive. Meaning, there will be a new Prime. The matrix of leadership will present itself only to one whose spark is worthy. And with that, the Cybonic Plague fully kills off Optimus, and the matrix of leadership comes out of his chest. It hovers in the sky for a second, and then it selects somebody. Cliffjumper is then selected as the next Prime. The matrix of leadership then enters his spark chamber, and he is then reanimated into a new Prime. Arise, Cliffjumper's Prime. The Autobots then rally behind their newest Prime, and Cliffjumper's Prime says, for Optimus, we will end this war, once and for all. Meanwhile, Shatter and Dropkick are secretly meeting with Silas, and Silas says that he has his first Transformer Super Soldier complete, and it is ready for a test. Shatter and Dropkick then look at each other. Excellent, now it is time to enact our plans. They both then put the dark energon shards into their chests, and immediately their eyes start glowing purple. And together, they begin to send messages to Megatron's brain, and his eyes start glowing purple. And soon enough, with both Shatter and Dropkick's minds, they manage to take some sort of control over Megatron, cause two minds are better than one. Shatter and Dropkick then tell Megatron to send out troops to bring out the Autobots. And so, Megatron obeys, under the control of two minds. We soon cut to Bulkhead and Breakdown as they duke it out. That's when Breakdown says, if I were you, I'd look behind you instead of focusing on me. He then sees a figure. Optimus? Bulkhead is then knocked out. Bulkhead then wakes up at the Autobot base. Ratchet then says, what did you see? And Bulkhead says, I saw Optimus. Impossible. He's put in the tomb right over there outside. Ratchet then says, I don't know what's going on, but we must call in everybody from patrol as soon as possible. And so he does. RC gets the message while pursuing Knockout, but is run off the road, then waking up at the Autobot base and explains what she saw. Bulkhead then explains that he saw the same thing. Cliffjumper's Prime then says, who could be doing this? Optimus is dead. They actually did it. They managed to crack the code. Mech. So wait, how are we gonna stop this Nemesis Prime? We shall set a trap. Something to lure Nemesis Prime out into the field. And so they do, with us cutting the Wheeljack, with him walking through an abandoned oil factory. And over comms he says, alrighty, so how do we know when this guy shows up? Cliffjumper's Prime then says, well, you'd hear a truck, or you'd see him. You copy, Wheeljack? And then there's static. Cliffjumper's Prime then moves in, and at last encounters Nemesis Prime, where Silas then speaks through Nemesis Prime. Where is Optimus Prime? Well, you see, the thing is, Silas, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I know you probably made that thing, whatever it is, to take down Optimus, but he's dead. He's no longer with us. Silas then says, "Ah, I see. Then you must have selected a new leader, I suppose." And to where Cliffjumpus Prime says, "Indeed, I am the new leader of the Autobots." With Silas saying, "Ah, I see," and then begins to attack Cliffjumpus Prime, with them immediately getting into a sword fight. The slash is going back and forth, back and forth. That is until Nemesis Prime takes out his blaster, shooting at Cliffjumper, but Cliffjumper takes out his blaster, countering back at Nemesis Prime's blaster. And then Cliffjumpus Prime then runs at Nemesis Prime unexpectedly and punches Nemesis Prime in the correct spot, which severs the link between Nemesis Prime and Silas. Grr. This is where Shatter and Dropkick arrive and see that Cliffjumper's looking different, and he's taken down the new project? How? And let's just say with their Dark Energon powers, they can sense the Matrix within Cliffjumper. And they're like, he is a new Prime now. They begin to run at him, where Cliffjumpus Prime then takes a fighting stance, but Shatter trips him, and Dropkick transforms, hooks up Nemesis Prime's body, flies away, with Shatter saying, "We shall meet again, Prime." And Cliffjumpus Prime then notices her eyes just before he goes, with Dark Energon within him. And soon enough, he returns to Hangar E, the Autobot base, and informs his team of what has just transpired. Ratchet then says it seems that Megatron has allied mech with the Decepticons. I never thought he would do such a thing. With Cliffjumpus Prime then saying, I think it's more than that. Shatter and Dropkick had Dark Energon in their eyes. It seems they took it. And who knows? Maybe we'll find out what's going on soon. And we get back to the Nemesis, where Shatter and Dropkick stand beside Megatron in the Decepticon Command Center. Shatter and Dropkick then smile, as Megatron lies helpless under their control. Decepticons, we have work to do. Indeed we do. Shatter and Dropkick smile. And that's where I'm going to leave it off here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed part 4, and I'll see you guys in part 5.